joining us. Oh, yeah, it's Priscilla in the background running around. Fritz is getting her beauty sleep somewhere. She's back there somewhere. All right. Political timeline energies. Oh, I forgot to. Um, anyway, it doesn't matter. There's a political analyst or a predictor, or is like I forget. He's in California. He's like a university teacher. If you search, has always predicted the winner of the presidential elections. I don't want to bring up his name anyway, so I don't want to bring that energy through. But anyway, this shows that there's a lot of magic and wizardry that goes into the political stuff. The only reason I'm mentioning it. And it's like right now it's like Trump's an easy win, but of course you never know. According to this guy, he didn't make his prediction yet, but it looks from what he was saying, it sounds like Biden can easily win the next one, just like that. And he's been right. So not saying I'm taking any sides or anything like that. Just saying that, the way things are looking, is he can easily go in his direction. Not trying to, take, just being real with you. Because you saw what happened last time. So just bringing that up. So I think it's kind of important. At least on us, yeah, and it's an actor's type of. I mean, this is what society needs. It's, it's fighting itself. It's like, it's like the thrift store. The planet's like the thrift store of the universe. So like, this will probably go into one of my movies I'm putting together, but it is like this world is like a thrift store. Like, you go to a thrift store, like it has sometimes a warm and fuzzy feeling. Like, wow, you found something really good, or you just find a bunch of crap. So, but this world is pretty much like a thrift store planet. Like, you can find some really good clothes. You can find some gems, but then obviously there's a lot of other stuff there too. Oh, you can call it a junkyard if you want. There's that aspect of it. There's a little bit of everything, but it is kind of like a thrift store. You wonder why so many souls come here. Well, think about it. It's like we have stuff. Of course, you have to think outside the box, but like what we have here on this planet, like stores or even nature, is all stuff that's probably been done somewhere else, and you got dumped here, for whatever reason. So you got everyone else's crap basically to a certain level. And of course, why is so intriguing, souls incarnate here, what they can get out of it. There's got to be something that's, you just don't come here just to get tortured to death. You come because there's some kind of, world, there's some kind of something's pulling you here, or interest, whatever you want to call it. Doesn't mean it's pulling you, but it might be something here of worthwhile. But if you think of it from a thrift store's point of view, or old antique store, whatever you want to look at, I don't know. This is one way of looking at it. It gives you a bit of a different perspective. Not just to think you come to a screwed up planet. Of course, there's a lot of people here, whatever. Either some people like are at home here, or stuck in their ways, or just love their darkness, or just don't think anything of themselves. And like, like, damn, that's really just, it's like, especially like they're like in their 20s, or they just kind of gave up on life. Or it's like, you're in 20s, you're not going to freaking croak anytime soon. But anyway, you have to go through that too. Whatever you got to go through, you got to go through. Yeah, it's like no right or wrong here, really. Just, I mean, obviously there's plenty of entities here that gladly take your soul, but it's not all about that. But those guys are definitely here for sure. So yeah, like the thrift store world is probably another way of looking at it, but thrift store energy does have a vibe of like, there is some, sometimes you, like, even if in your own life, you ever go to the thrift store at all? Like, if you don't, it kind of gives you an idea about this planet. It's like, okay, every once in a while I might check in, so maybe every once in a while I check in on this planet. So it's like sometimes you might find something good, and every time you get something out of it. I mean, whatever it might be. So anyway, so give it one perspective of that. Yeah, and like I say, the political stuff's the actors. Yeah, it's just a movie, basically, as you can see. And feline energies. One thing about the felines, imagine some people have heard about the Lyrans, um, where they had like a paradise world in like Eden, and the reptilians came over and did whatever they. Not all felines are that, like, laying around eating bonbons all day. A lot. I mean, there's a lot. Obviously, we can only tap into so much, but there are feline beings out there. It's like, you know what? We know where our limits. I mean, no, not to be too stupid, but yeah, there's going to be beings that are just like in just law or whatever, just a bunch of hippies sitting around, thinking they know everything, and end up, someone like the reptilians show up and kick their ass. So, not all feline beings are like that. Obviously, if that's the myth that this world's taking, at least from a galactic perspective, obviously those beings are here. They need to go through this. So basically, you're dealing with beings here, obviously, that of living in delusional la la land. We see a lot of that here. It's called normal. Also, I'll just bring this up. Yeah, this is another thing that came to mind. I'm not looking for this. Like the Amber Hood and the Johnny Depp thing. It's a reflection on society too, because isn't that for a lot of people normal? Tearing each other apart, like all fake in front of everybody and beating the crap out of each other. So, some kind of, it's like a reflection of society, basically. So, but isn't that kind of normal for a lot of people? Not everybody, thank God. But yeah, we don't need that for everybody, but it is very common though. So, anyway. Not to go into too much of that. Yeah, I would say sometimes things like that get brought to light to, like Bill Clinton kind of get their act together. Like a regular person get their act together. Maybe. Maybe. Time to talk comment, private sessions. Schedule. And we have the shop here. Of course, I guess the other way to look at it is like some people are just sorry they got caught. It's probably the big thing out there, right there. So I'm not going to go too much into political stuff, but we'll go into a little bit of that. It was on an energetic level. Don't take sides or anything like that. It's all just a bad movie, basically. Oh God, just make it stop. Where's our council of narcissists? Maybe that'll be a little bit better. Of course, technically, that is not the government in general, but maybe if we had. God, is there any winning here? Probably not. It'd be nice to be able to not be censored all the time. That shows this bunch of coward energies here on the planet. But anyway, those are running it or too weak to handle anything. But the other thing, so YouTube, you get update on that. So apparently I messaged their support and they said I never got my appeals, which is no surprise there. And even when I was chatting with them today, I kept losing connection with their chat. It's like, hey, it's fine on their end, but my end, it keeps disconnecting. So they're not getting my messages. It's like, jeez. It's like one thing after the other. And then, so apparently you can make your browser incognito mode or private mode and then submit it, which is freaking stupid. But I did that anyway because nothing is working. So I can't appeal my channel right now. So, God. And I felt a negative energy, not from the person I was talking to. I was trying to be as cool with them as possible because that's not their fault. They're not only some conspiracy, just a regular person doing their job. I'm just letting them know it's like maybe there's something on their end screwing me over, basically. That's what I was getting at, but I kept losing connection. It's like, how convenient, right? And I felt this like negative energy coming from YouTube or whoever that's involved with it. I just got hit with it. So might as well try and see what happens. It does feel like a bot took my channel down, but obviously there could be some other force there, which can just leave it down. But anyway. All right. So, okay, we're going to the political energies or or the thrift store Earth. Like I said, thrift store Earth isn't a bad thing. Like you say, sometimes you go there and he's like, wow, this feels really cool, or it feels like freaking weird, whatever. Yeah, this world has a little bit of everything. And then the feeling of frequency characteristics. Greens is the political timeline. It's the Archon beings. So this is a neutral connection. So basically, we throw cards at your society, your timelines, or scenarios, situations. It's just a lot is thrown at your world to see what you do. And you can say there's an elite system, but realize there's always an elite above your elite above your elite. So it is off world. And off world elites don't care about your, well, they do. They know it's important, but they play it like a Roman emperor. they care about the outcome. Well, they care about they're in charge still. But realize also this world's plugged into the universe itself too. So basically, you might not like this, well, some of you understand. Sometimes the society takes a beating because it deserves it. Not everybody, but if you feel like it's not directed to you, because it's not, but some, like, it's almost like punishing a child. It's similar to that. Let the sensors connect to that one. Like I said, it doesn't apply to everybody, but even if it doesn't apply to you, you might feel the vibes of it. It's kind of like, not exactly punishing, but it's delivering on a prompt. It doesn't want to reveal itself fully. But what's happening politically is really kind of putting pressure on your society to evolve. Obviously, it doesn't want to. It likes, it's like my party. I want to be a kid forever. And the planet is here to really put pressure on the soul, on individuals to lighten up, to clear the. I mean, they really put as you can see, the iron on society. So, so stepping back, if you're not biased or anything, you'll see the entities here that, have kind of a strange sense of humor, but they put the pressure on society because they know that it kind of deserves it. Well, it needs it, just like a parent teaching its kid. Now, I realize it's just because you have a sister or a brother or whatever getting punished doesn't mean you're in the line for it, but you might feel the vibes from it. And so, like I say, if you notice it's not directed to you, it's not. But you're feeling the ramification. Well, because this is kind of a family society. It doesn't act that way. In some ways, that's good. It's so disconnected that way. It's not always a bad thing. That way, when you have someone toxic, you can just cut them off. When it's everyone's family, everyone has to get along with each other. It's like, oh, so I still have to be around you. There are worlds like that. So this one always has the advantage you can cut energies off. Of course, when you're growing up, it's a whole different story. But when you're growing up, it's like you need to go through this. Or it will bring you other parents or whatever might happen. So that does occur also. So, but I'd be surprised how many kids knows, like, I have to go through this, I know, and just endure it. Or vice versa with the parents. So sometimes you're just a difficult child, and it's like, of course, the difficult child is like, when am I going to get into some new parents? Like, never. Hopefully, that's the answer. But for the political energies, the actors, society. Well, some of you have seen it. Most aren't going to, because they need to be in the play. They need to be in the movie for now, at least. They're just locked in. They're just. You can say a lot of them are not mature enough to let go of the system, the program that's going on, because it is a different world. If society just said the hell with all this and broke out, you have a different planet. More mature. It'll still have its issues, but you'll be more connected to the universe, more real with yourselves. Doesn't mean you won't be get censored because it's always going to be that here. It's just the way it is at this, even in the fourth dimension. You got to get to a level where, I mean, yeah, anything goes, yeah, but still, there's still going to be some form of censorship. It doesn't mean it has to stay that way, but you see how this world's acting. It doesn't learn from old tricks. It's like an old dog that holds on to the past. So yeah, you might have difficulties with the beings that are here, of course, because they can, the ones that are putting the heat on this planet, yes, they can overdo it, just like any other consciousness, especially when they get mad. And there's a lot of that here. So it doesn't, yeah, a lot of times it's like, like see why sometimes you feel like you can't read the future. Well, once again, it's like a parent frequency. How would you, sometimes it's just best just not to go there. Because what's happening here is necessary, even if it is, vicious. It's not always vicious to everyone, it's vicious to quite a few. Well, there's a discipline energy that's coming through the planet, as some of you see. Now, those of you that have been disciplined might feel, oh, yeah, I went through that a long time ago somewhere else. But you're also helping guide energetically those that are, it's like, I believe many of you come here energetically to say, you don't have to make this life difficult. And someone say, I'm going to do it anyways. It's like, okay. But no, that's not always the case. And you might not ever meet these people, ever. You don't have to go too deep into it unless you want to, but you're on the Earth stage. This is what a lot of souls here new to this drama. They're not aligned with themselves. So you can see a lot of souls here have been lost for a long time. In other star systems, this isn't the first time. Some don't want to grow up. Doesn't mean you have to, but they're here because part of them wants to grow up, even if they do a lousy job at something. They're just funny that way. But they also realize they can still act like a child, but still add to their library of knowledge. So that's nice. Green see with that the felines. Not to go too deep in our connection, but not all felines need to go through this drama here. But then again, there are feline beings that, for them to get to their highest potential, create difficult worlds for themselves. So, like with Lyra, as some of you heard that tale, what about there are feline beings that set that place up to fail? It's like, we have all our feline fools here. Somebody's going to find them and teach them a lesson. Now, they can change, but obviously they choose not to. It's almost like a feline Indian colony. It's like, you can't even dress that way to some level. There are Mohawk beings, feline beings, canine, and so on. But for a spiritual growth, well, basically, as some of you experience, you're around rowdy children or kids, whatever you want to call them, even some of them are adults, and you get kind of tired of it. So you create a world that is like, you lay it down of this, oh, this is paradise. Come over here. And you go there and they just self-indulge, and you can have as long as you want, thousands of years of self-indulgence. It's not going to last forever, and it doesn't. And you have it here too, where there was a time period on this world where there was tranquility, peace on earth, and obviously that wasn't good enough for a lot of beings here. Well, because it was at a level of peacefulness, and some may say it was too peaceful for them. And so it was like you take something, very nice looking, and then you ruin it. But it's still a very beautiful mess, you could say. Like there's some, even this world is like some might see as like what's happening here is very attractive. It's still a tragic, beautiful, romantic fallout world that's just lost itself. There is some romanticism here too. So it's just to take something perfect and then destroy it. And you're seeing that here. And you see a lot of beautiful people here. They're just a reflection of their world, ruining themselves for whatever reason. just sell themselves out. But some just literally self sabotage to see what that even feels like a nice, beautiful chandelier, and it just destroys itself, shatters, glass everywhere, and so on, or glass. uh, but they're also to rebuild themselves as a diamond, eventually. Eventually. So think like as you heard the myths of the past, Atlantean myths, whatever it might be, or perfect reality, and then you just, like I say, destroy it. And then the pieces are everywhere. And like with the Lyrans, as you've heard, like some of them went to the Pleiades and other places, fragmented, hurt, injured, but also created better things. So there was just wasn't necessarily mean spirited for that to happen, but just life has to take its course. Let's put it that way. It's like you have this like privileged society, and eventually has to come down. You can see some of that with the U.S. The U.S. has never been perfect, but there are areas where they feel like they are kind of above the law, and they're now feeling the heat of what's happening here. Even with the U.S., we can't go into all the details because it's kind of like a surprise. You can say, I wouldn't worry too much about it, but it's going through what it needs to go through. Like I said, it's not directed towards everyone, but some of you are deciding to stay a part of the U.S. to help it through this process, even if you kind of just had enough of it.